the spot.
We're not live yet.
We're not.
You gotta, hold on, we're gonna do that again.
You gotta let him get back.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
All right, I call the regular meeting of the Milliken Board of Trustees for March 12th, 2025 to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will town clerk please call roll?
Trustee Beckman?
Here.
Trustee Lane?
Here.
Trustee Nix?
Here.
Trustee Orcutt?
Here.
Trustee Wakeman?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean?
Here.
Mayor Austin?
Here. Thank you. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda this evening? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve agenda?
I second. All in, or town clerk please call for a vote.
Aye.
Trustee Beckman?
Yes.
Trustee Orcutt?
Yes.
Trustee Lane?
Yes.
Trustee Nix?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Do we have any citizens' comments this evening? None. Do we have any comments or corrections to the meeting minutes of February 26, 2025? Take a motion.
Move to go for it.
A motion to approve the minutes from February 26, 2025.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Nix?
Yes.
Trustee Orcutt?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Beckman?
Yes.
Trustee Lane?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And now we'll have the town administrator's report from Administrator Powell.
I'm gonna have some assistance on this one, John. Yeah. So we have some pictures. So earlier this week, John and I did a tour of the projects going on down County Road 21. And we've got two going on at the same time, the alluvial well blending project and the stormwater project. So it's very interesting. A lot of work is being done, a lot of earth is being moved. But as John said, I think we're running about a week behind on the alluvial well blending project, but they're playing catch up. So anyway, so I decided to show you guys some pictures of it if you haven't been down there. See if we can.
And this is part of the alluvial blending well. This picture here is coming on the south side of the tank site. And that's our tying connection, that existing valve right there coming out of the tank. And that will be the new line that's going down to the RO plant. And we just have some different pictures of the project here to present.
So how deep is that?
The buried depth will be 5 foot. And here's the Quintine Stormwater Crossing Project. And the slide to the left there, that's on the west side of 21, behind Bob, just directly south of Bobcat.
Is that where the excavator got stuck?
What was that?
Is that
Looks
where
like
the
it.
excavator got stuck?
Oh, yeah.
It appears that all of our equipment is above ground for the contractors now, so that's good thing.
And they're grubbing out there. We got to excavate about 10 to 11 foot of earth right there.
Wow. That much just to get the storm drains in?
Right, the storm drains, leading up to the storm drains will be at a depth of 11 foot at the bottom of the storm drain.
Wow.
And this is looking to the north on the east side of the roadway. And you can see some of Pheasant Hill's detention pond in the white.
Is Wildcat Acres having trouble getting to their homes?
No, we have 21 is open, just for Wildcat. And here's just looking at the east side of Weld County Road 21 on the south side of the field. And here's 2 weeks ago from today. This picture was at 3 o'clock. I went back over there after the board meeting at 8 o'clock, and that's how much the excavator sank.
Wow.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so that's the material they're working with.
Sheesh. How'd they get it out of there?
We have a short video here.
Yeah, we'll show you how. they
Another
go.
Hold your
excavator.
breath.
Yeah, don't try to push.
Wow.
That excavator's 15.
Looks dangerous.
Can't believe it's sold that much.
The big losses is going out.
I know, that's why I'm sitting there watching it go like this.
Okay, the dozer's pulling on the excavator.
Yeah, there's three
And then the haul
vehicles.
truck, they're hooking the haul truck up to the dozer right now.
I'm sorry, what?
We're hooking the haul truck,
All
the
that
big dump truck
equipment is
up to the
pulling each
dozer.
other.
And the dozer is pulling the excavator that's up on top.
Man.
I thought this was gonna be easy. I thought they were just gonna yank this thing out. It's keep sinking. Yeah, it's kind of.
There, he's getting your
I'm
grip.
like, don't hold your breath. I know, I'm like, do I get to see them now?
No, it's one of those moves.
Yeah.
You got Rick rolled.
It is.
You keep watching it to see what happens. They just get out and let us see.
Sorry. You are one with the earth.
That's where you live at.
Would have been a good time to run out of gas too.
Man.
That's really the guy that lives right there. A show.
Now they're gonna make some progress.
Farmers have something that they can help with. Normally they got to bring in the equipment.
There you go. Hold on.
Kind of mud. I wouldn't want to clean it all off.
Watch the amount of water that comes out of the engine compartment.
Oh, yeah.
So that thing's shot. I'm sure.
No, it saved it.
You what?
It saved. It didn't get into the air
Oh,
intake.
really?
How do you
Wow.
feel about the 49
Can you
side.
like pick things? It's crazy to like.
Yeah, if this made you nervous, you don't want to watch them on I-70 when they're on the side of the mountains doing stuff. It's sketchy.
Wow. That was something.
Yeah.
What a bog.
Well, kind of on that note though, so there you have to go back through twice, right?
Right, and
Because of the water table and the weight of the equipment going over it, and it's forcing that water up higher. So they're, instead of doing one,
instead of, the contract was for them to come in one time and remove the dirt. Now they're having to basically come in, put the dirt that they're excavating out of the site, build a pad to bridge it, and then to come back and re-excavate the material out. We're looking at additional 25,000 cubic yards. We don't have a cost put together yet from the contractor, but we will be receiving some type of a change order for that.
yeah, so, and it's due to just exactly what happened, so.
Man.
Guess we'll be approving that too. Wow, that was something.
Yeah, so, anyway, thanks, John.
You certainly know how to bring the entertainment to the board.
Show and tell.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that was quite something. So anyway, that was on those projects and what's going on. Also, I received the boundary agreement from Gilcrest, which they had approved. I'll be bringing it, this to the town board on March 26th. A few months ago, we received a request and some petitions from the residents who live on Holly Street. The request was to replace a block of sidewalk that was in severe disrepair. It was failing. It was probably never done right. We went out to bid for this project and received 18 bids that ranged from $37,995 to $109,081. Also, we had the bid opening on the Cape Seal project. On this project, we received 2 bids, one for $147,318 and another for $169,577. These items will be coming before the board in the next few weeks. Also, if you remember, a few weeks ago, residents spoke to the board about painting on the large electrical boxes in town, using local artists to do the artwork. I reached out to our XL representative, and XL currently does not allow this, but they are working on an agreement to where this would be possible, and he will let me know when this happens. And I did contact the resident that came in and let him know that. So Sylvia gave me an update on a few things that she's been doing. For community court, she currently has 17 juveniles on her caseload. There will be 8 more included in this caseload, probably after the next court date. The Mickle numbers have been low this month, averaging about 10 to 15 kids, but she's not concerned about that. She thinks that'll get better. Homework club, she's had about 5 to 10 kids attending that. So anyway, that's a quick update on that. I don't think I handed out the information on the library, the little library here in town, and what the numbers look like for there. And their intent is hoping by January of 26 to be moving into the middle school, former middle school. So, in a section of that school.
When is that going to start getting really worked on?
I don't know. I do know that they're working with, I don't know what the school district is doing. They've got some things. I'm actually going to meet with Scott Nielsen on Friday. We're going to have lunch, and I'll get more details that day.
I'm surprised they haven't started, like the front where they were going to put the secure, the double entry and all that. They haven't done anything. They haven't.
Yeah. So I'll talk to them and see what the schedule is for, you know, what they propose as a schedule for that all to be done. But the library district is working with their own construction company in order to do the remodel in the areas that they have and everything, so. And they're moving ahead with that. So they're hoping to be done by January 26th, or yeah, January 2026, yeah. So, any questions on anything?
Questions from the board?
What's the plan for the old library?
I'm going to speak with Millhouse. I'm hoping they can attend the next meeting. I do know that Lynette is working for Woods now too, so I don't know what her availability is. Her daughter is pretty much running the shop, so I need to find that out from them. And my guess is that they'll want to expand, you know, have more tables in there. So.
Any other questions? Thank you for the report.
You're welcome.
Any exciting presentations?
Yes, I figured you'd like the end of that one.
All right, we don't have anything on the consent agenda, so moving to the action agenda, we have a public hearing for consideration and approval of a resolution amending the budget for 2025 to recognize additional revenues and expenditures. Presenting will be Wade Nickerson. This is our finance director, and this is a public hearing, so the time is 6:48, and I'm opening the public hearing.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees. So the resolution in front of you is to consider amending the 2025 budget. We have some additional expenditures as well as carryover of projects from the prior year that we didn't get finished. And the summary details those, but I just want to go through how it's going to affect the four funds that are affected. The general fund, we're going to increase revenues by $79,685, and we're going to increase expenditures $708,111. On the capital improvement projects fund, revenues are going to increase $802,165, and expenditures will increase $1,002,706. On the water fund, revenues are going to increase $1 million and expenditures will increase $2,137,976. And lastly, on the stormwater fund, the revenues are going to be increased by $1,942,631 and expenditures will increase by $2,574,990. Staff recommends adoption of this resolution, and I'm available for questions.
Any questions from the board, starting with Trustee Wakeman?
Can you just, I mean, I know you went through the dollar amounts, but maybe talk about each one. Obviously, they're not small amounts that just kind of give us an idea of the changes and why they're different and such.
Yeah. So if you in the docket, a couple pages back is the budget summary. So in the general fund, we have a compensation study for $30,500. The tandem dump truck that was approved in last year's budget has not been delivered yet, so that's going to be carried over for $375,000. Third is the town hall security cameras. We have some security camera failures at town hall that were unexpected, so we need to replace not just the cameras but also the system that goes along with those, and that's a $17,000 expenditure. We talked at the last work session regarding the development agreement and the revenue we received for that on the Meadow Farms project. This carryover includes the $186,004 remaining of those funds that were received by the town to spend on that landscaping project. And then the last item, this is an ongoing project from several years. We finally received the senior services bus earlier this year, so we have to carry over the expenditure and then the offsetting grant revenue. That's $99,607 of expense, but we're also going to get we're going to receive, our piece of that is only 20%, so the grant revenue for that is going to be $79,685. In the capital projects fund, we're carrying over the TAP grant sidewalk project. So we received this grant late last year in the amount of $802,165. That's the 80% of the cost of that project. We are also including the total town cost, and that's $1,002,706. Then the water fund, two items regarding the Ehrlich Lake recharge well and pump house. So we had $149,667 left over on that project. We discussed with the board at one of the work sessions the additional funding it was about $269,600. I rounded up just to keep it simple, that would need to be to complete that project, so that's included. And then we just saw some pictures of the alluvial well blending project. We started that last year also. It's not finished. We're going to continue that. So the expenditures associated with that project are $1,718,309. But we also received $1 million grant for that. So we have not received that money yet. We have not earned that money, but we will get that grant once we complete the project. So that's an offsetting revenue for the water fund. And then lastly is the stormwater fund. So the two items here are the Quintine storm crossing that we just saw some video and pictures of. And then we also have to do the drainage, the public works building to keep the water, get the water going where it needs to go rather than flooding neighboring fields and that type of stuff. So those projects, the storm crossing is $1,942,631. The total cost of that project is offset by grant revenue. That's what we're using our ARPA revenue funding for, the American Rescue Plan Act money. And then the Public Works Facility Drainage Project is $632,539. And that's funding that we have in fund balance that is going to complete that project.
Thank you. I guess I'm just curious, and I know this is probably obvious to you, I'm just trying to understand that the changes that those items weren't anticipated in our budget.
The only two things that were not anticipated were a compensation study and the town hall security cameras. Everything else was budgeted previously. But we don't budget every year for the same project. We budget for the total 1 year, and if the project isn't completed, we carry it over to the following year. But in order to spend that money, we have to ask permission to appropriate it,
Okay.
which is what we're doing today.
Okay, that makes sense. That's the piece I was.
Yeah, the two things that were actually unforeseen only total about $47,000 out
That's what I
of
was
several million.
Sure was that they
Yeah.
were all items that we talked about previously, so I
Yeah.
wasn't understanding why it was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Trustee Lane, any questions?
That answers a lot of my questions. I think from someone from the outside that's looking in, they see these numbers and they don't understand the carryovers and what that means. And it looks like we're spending money like drunken sailors, like we heard this last election. And I think it helps to have a bottom line saying, actually, with all that's said and done, we're only asking for what 47,000.
That we haven't, that hasn't already been budgeted correctly.
And we do have that available. So there should be some kind of a bottom line, statement that states that. So someone from the outside says, "Oh, okay," because if you just start adding up, we've got expenditures and revenues, and it's like, holy crud, we're spending town board's spending a lot of money here.
Yeah.
And that's not that's not really the true picture of what's going on here with the carryovers and everything else. So I don't know if you can state it a better way in future. It just seems, when you read through it, it's like, man, it doesn't make a lot of sense if you're just average, citizen thinking, what's going on here? Does that make sense?
Well, the best analogy I could give is this. Okay, so you had planned to buy a new motorcycle last year. You didn't find the model you wanted. You had 20 grand to spend on that motorcycle last year. All the models were sold out, didn't have the right one. Now the new models are coming out. You still have that 20 grand in your savings account. You still got it in your pocket. You still got it in your stuck in your mattress, wherever it is. Now you're going to go buy that motorcycle.
But it's $37,000.
No, it's still 20. It's still 20. We didn't change the dollars. That's the key. We didn't change the dollars, and that's what we're spending outside of the grant revenue that I outlined. That's what we're spending. We're spending money that we didn't spend last year. We said, hey, here's the revenue expenditures last year. We got the revenue, we just didn't spend the money. So it's in our savings account. Now we are going to spend the money and finish these projects.
And I think too, I like the way he did this, to be honest with you, because it shows the offset, and it shows, when we look at, there's 3 large grants
Yes.
we received that offset a good portion of these projects. So, I think it's a great way to identify that, maybe the town is spending some money to get some projects done, but look at all the money we received in order to do this on behalf of our residents. So.
Trustee Nix, any questions?
So I just have one, because so number 4 is Meadow Farms landscaping project, and you have the expenditure in there. And I noticed that you have the grants for the other things in there, but you don't have the revenue we received for Meadow Farms landscaping project in there. How come?
So that agreement, the settlement agreement was signed in 2024. So I have to record that it's a 2024 revenue. That therefore it doesn't show up here as revenue.
Okay. Thanks.
Trustee Beckman?
I don't have any questions.
Trustee Urquhart?
No questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean?
Well, I share some of my colleagues' frustration in reading this. I understand what Cheryl's seeing, but what would have been helpful to me was to see not just the changes, but a beginning fund balance, the changes, and the ending fund balance, because it took me a while to decipher, to realize we're still going to have positive ending fund balances, and that's what is of concern to me. Not so much a question as a comment.
All right. Anyone else? I have none. So are there any questions from the public? Okay, the time is 7 o'clock. I'm closing the public hearing, and I'll take a motion on the matter.
I move to adopt Resolution 2025-06, recognizing and appropriating funds to carry out activities and complete projects approved by the town board.
I second.
So please call for a vote.
Trustee Orcutt?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Beckman?
Yes.
Trustee Lane?
Yes.
Trustee Nix?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Blake.
Next item on the agenda is a public hearing to consider ordinance number 2025-823.
Yeah.
Presenting as Pepper Planningham, Community Development Director. Since this is a public hearing, the time is 7:01, and I'm opening the hearing.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Trustees, before you is basically kind of housekeeping cleanup ordinance. There are 3 sections that this touches. It touches the light industrial district and the medium industrial district, as well as setbacks in the oil and gas section. So it was pointed out to us that we had production, fabrication, and assembly activities, including oil and gas services and repair, as a use by right in light industrial, but as a conditional use in medium industrial. So this ordinance will put that as a conditional use in light industrial and as a permitted use subject to site plan and other requirements of the code in the medium industrial. Our existing setbacks for oil and gas address from existing oil and gas facilities. We didn't have a section that talked about setbacks for new proposed oil and gas facilities adjacent to subdivisions, so lots and lot lines and streets and that type of thing. So this third change in this ordinance is to add setbacks for new oil and gas proposed facilities from existing subdivisions that may or may not be developed. So it doesn't just mean structures. It can be lot lines, lots, streets, even if the streets aren't yet constructed but are platted. And then we re-alphabetized everything. So that's pretty much the long and short of it, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions, Trustee Beckman?
No questions, thanks, Member.
Trustee Orcutt?
No questions.
Trustee Nix?
No questions.
Trustee Lane?
No questions.
Trustee Milliken?
No questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean?
No questions.
I have none. You got off your feet.
Thank you.
Comments from the public? Okay. The time is 7:03. I'm going to close the public hearing. I'll take a motion on the matter.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-823, an ordinance amending section 16-2-190, 16-2-200, and 16-4-600 of the Milliken Municipal Code.
I second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Beckman?
Yes.
Trustee Lane?
Yes.
Trustee Nix?
Yes.
Trustee Orcutt?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, last item on the action agenda is a resolution adopting amended policies and procedures manual. Presenting is Matthew Gould, Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor Austin. What you have before you is an item that we've worked on for a while now. It's an update to the policies and procedures manual that applies to the board and to other town commissions. We tabled this at the last meeting so that we could see a complete red line of the entire policies and procedures manual compared to the previously discussed versions at a couple of prior meetings. So that red line is in the packet. I can draw your attention to the key changes that are reflected in the red line. The table of contents was heavily redlined, and that's just because we overhauled that and updated. On page 8 of the red line version, and that's page 98 of the packet, there's a revision to section 3.3D, and I believe that's the one that inserts a reference and a quotation from the pertinent statute related to removal of officers. Let's see, on page 12, and that's page 102 in the packet, it appears that there's a change, but I believe that's not an actual change. It's a URL, I believe, to the state statutes. So I don't think that's a real change. That somehow the word comparison picked that up and incorrectly. Page 19 shows a deletion, and that I believe that reflects or that relates to comments that a board member might want to make when making a vote. And then finally, in Appendix F, which is a social media policy, there were quite a number of different changes based on our last discussion of that policy. The key items that were changed were that we removed the notion of a public account, and also I added some discussion regarding quasi-judicial matters. There might have been one or two other changes. So happy to take any questions.
Thank you.
questions.
Trustee Wakeman?
I do, so there was actually changes, I think it was missed in the red line on the consent agenda stuff on when we could remove items from the consent agenda.
So I think that was made further back than what we were comparing to. My recollection is that might have been made before December 23rd. Do you have a section reference?
I don't, I was just reading.
Yeah, my suspicion, and I apologize if that was missed, but I believe that that change had already been made to the version that we reviewed on December 23rd, and I did not go further back than that.
Okay, no, that's okay. I just knew that was something we had discussed, and I just noticed it wasn't part of the red line, and so that makes sense. I don't believe I have any other questions. Reading through it, I was glad to see that obviously we talked about that change in the Wi-Fi usage.
Yes, that was removed.
Yeah.
Yes. And bear in mind, if there are other changes that pop up from time to time, it's not too hard to do that, right? We can do it with a resolution pretty easily.
Right.
Sometimes you learn from experience and things like this have to evolve.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern in making changes is that it is kind of a living document, and that what changes we make then impacts what following boards see and what they see as standard protocol, right? And so even though it feels like a minor thing to change, that evolution can have large impacts down the road, I guess. And so that's my concern in being sure that we're making necessary changes, basically.
Sure.
I just wanted to clarify for the record, you said account, public account, you're referring to social media
Yes.
accounts, yeah. That's it.
Trustee Orca?
No questions.
No questions.
And I don't have any, it's pretty clear, so there's no further questions. I'll take a motion on that.
I move to adopt resolution number 2025-07, a resolution adopting the Town of Milliken Board of Trustees, Commissions and Committees, Policies and Procedures Manual.
I second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Beckman?
Yes.
Trustee Lane?
Yes.
Trustee Nix?
Yes.
Trustee Orca?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Can I actually follow up just with a comment?
Certainly.
Real quick. I think before when we discussed in a work session, it was regarding, I think this change, if I'm not, now that I feel like I'm confused on which time we made which changes, but we talked about the consent agenda, and this is my personal opinion about our specific, and I think it got confused in our work session about, I think my concern about using consent agenda when our meetings last 45 minutes, that if we're really saving time and in the effort of transparency, I think it came across, and I think your notes kind of seemed like it was that I didn't think consent agendas should be used at all. And I think more I was trying to talk about how we should use a consent agenda for our given situation, basically, and that we're not running 2-hour meetings, that we're looking to save a half an hour by using a consent agenda, basically, that we maybe save 2 minutes at most by using a consent agenda, and just in effort for transparency. And I guess that's what I feel like, just some clarification, I guess, on what conversation we had previously had.
Well, I do think that staff does use the consent agenda very judiciously.
I agree. I do.
So, are there any other questions or comments? Okay, any board reports? These the people have gone to.
I went to a thrilling North Front Range Metropolitan Organization meeting,
Been there, done that.
and they seem to not be making good progress on the air quality.
I'm surprised.
I am too.
Okay.
Is it always thrilling, Dan?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure you're not lying.
It is.
It's always thrilling.
And we will be hosting it in May, as I recall.
Yes, we will.
You got any code enforcement officer?
May 1st?
I think that's correct.
Yes, Rowan will be. Okay, if there's no further business to come before the board, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we're out. Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you, too.